Hello, my name is Prashant. I lead product marketing for the customer service and contact center category of products at Zoho. I'm also part of the core CX strategy team, and I'll be taking you through Zoho's approach to customer experience and the overall customer experience platform vision today. Let's go over a simple agenda of what we'll see in this video. So the first thing is what's up with customer experience, and then we'll talk about how Zoho looks at customer experience, and then we'll look at what Zoho does and what Zoho will do. We'll look at how it can all come together in real life through some real examples, and finally we'll conclude with some exciting things that you should ask us about. We've got much to see, so let's move on. This is the shortest articulation of what we aim to do. We want to simplify the experience economy for businesses and help them build great customer experiences without much of the hassles that they currently face. Now, before we get into how Zoho specifically helps this cause, let's take a quick look at the path that we've all come on. Without going too far into history, let me start with what I call the automation economy. This was broadly during the 80s and the 90s when computers were beginning to enter the world of business. Their primary use was to digitize records that were already created on paper. Customer relationships were mostly transactional, and brands broadcast their messages through print media, radio, and television. Loyalty was built solely on the quality of the products themselves, and most of the software that were used by companies around this time were generic tools like word processors and spreadsheets. Towards the 90s, with the popularity of Intel's x86 architecture, computers were becoming a lot more affordable, and this opened up a whole ecosystem of IT automation and bespoke software. This was also the period that saw the rise of the COO and the CTO as process automation and IT took prominence. Towards the end of the 90s, the service component began rising in prominence, and customers started paying attention to brands that delivered good services. As a natural extension of that, the 2000s and the 2010s became the service economy. The 2000s witnessed the growth of outsourcing and the services industry. This meant that systems had to be distributed, and around the same time, there was also Web 2.0 and user-generated content, and this meant that brands could have conversations with their customers, and that customers also had their own voices to be heard in the market. The 2000s also saw the rise of e-commerce, and by the 2010s, many capital-intensive business activities were becoming available as subscriptions. And IT was becoming less of a capital expenditure and more of an operational expenditure. The emergence of smartphones catalyzed the adoption of all of these further, and the period also saw the rise of the CMO and in many cases even the CRO. Naturally, towards the end of the 2010s, the pioneering brands had already moved on to the next step, the experience economy. We look at the 2020s and beyond as the experience economy. Although the term experience economy has been thrown around for many years, we think that the necessarily underlying pieces that truly enable an experience economy only started coming together in the later part of the 2010s. Software are moving towards consolidation and connected behavior. Brands are starting to move to an experiential marketing and consultative selling approach. Relationships are also predicated on the same. This means that the interesting technology pieces like AR and VR become more mainstream, and that customers will be willing to pay a premium where a brand is able to deliver a superior experience. This is also the period where we believe players in every market will develop platforms and nurture ecosystems. We've seen this before in tech, but we think that this will become more mainstream as an approach in the future. And this period, we think, will also see the rise of the CXO or the CCO and the CFO, as customer experience becomes a larger strategic priority for companies. Customer priority has clearly shifted from products to services to experiences. This is a model that we use to organize companies based on how their customer experience is. It pits customer focus against operational efficiency. Industrialized companies are those where the customer experience is subpar, but everything else in the business is highly optimized for efficiency. We tend to think of these as like an assembly line. Boutique businesses have nailed their customer experience but are struggling to scale it as their business grows. Their customer experience is personalized so long as their customer base is small or their growth is slow and organic. Endangered businesses are neither good at customer experience nor fully optimized for maximum leverage. They're the worst of both worlds and are at risk of obsolescence and substitution. Finally, there are the strong businesses. Their customer experience is personalized, because they are cross-functionally aligned and they use the right technology tools to complement their strategy. This is what we think every business must strive to reach, and we want to be the technology platform that makes that transformation possible. Now, companies have evolved to make experience offerings in many ways. Here are some examples. Companies like American Girl, Build-A-Bear, and Lego sell more than their products. If you have an American Girl doll, you can walk into the store to buy accessories for the doll, give her a new hairdo, have a snack with her, and buy everything you need to take better care of her. Now, that's an example of augmentation. As for aggregation, Amazon is a great example. Amazon has aggregated all the services and the tools that sellers need to sell their products online. Buyers are already on the platform, so the entire seller experience is well aggregated. Expedia and TripAdvisor have consolidated the experience of planning trips by offering a variety of options for every stage of the vacation. In addition to variety, Expedia offers a consolidated and managed experience to its customers. Apple and Tesla design all the components of their products and manage the supply chain all the way to the retail experience. They maintain the highest quality experience by controlling every stage of that experience. A company like Disney creates the fictional universe first and brings it to life across formats like film, live performances, themed exhibits, video games, merchandise, and more. Netflix produces content and offers the distribution platform as well. This is all a great example of diversification. However, not all companies are so successful. Most companies that attempt to transition to the experience economy end up being unsuccessful because of 4 common challenges in our opinion. Their experience is inconsistent across touchpoints. The retail experience is different from the contact center experience, which is different from the self-serve experience, and so on. Their employees are underpowered and bogged down by the tools they use. They often don't have everything they need to serve customers, or they have to go through a lot of friction or a steep learning curve just to serve customers. The brand's systems and teams think and act in silos. Customers receive a different experience from sales, marketing, service, and field. Each functional experience is optimized within its silo and not with any strategic priority in mind. As a result of teams thinking in silos, using best-of-breed tools for their respective niches, and general fragmentation in the stack, there is a lot of complexity which drives up inertia, which drives up risk. And this is worrisome for practically every C-suite leader. With those challenges in mind, let's see what businesses look like today and what customer experience involves. Most large businesses look like this. The mission is at the top and it drives everybody. The executive leadership takes decisions that impact the long-term prospects of the company. Internal teams work with each other and with the ecosystem to create the foundational aspects of the company's products and services. Customer-facing teams and ecosystem partners take the company's offerings to the market. Customers consume these offerings and ultimately drive their demand. And all of these people are in some way accountable to the regulatory and oversight elements such as government, legislators, auditors, analysts, and the media. However, the core of the company looks like this. Some of our customers and analysts feel companies are top-down, starting from the mission and trickling down to customers, while others believe it's a concentric model radiating inwards and outwards. The customer experience trickled down from the top of the organization all the way to the customers, while customer feedback moves in the opposite direction. It moves from customers themselves to reach the top of the organization, and it shapes the company's long-term thinking. Needless to say, it takes the effort of nearly every employee in the company to offer great experiences to customers. At the leadership level, this means heads of country operations, business units, as well as executives. Internal teams like engineering, finance, supply chain, fulfillment, quality, IT, HR, etc. come together to build the company's offerings. Customer-facing teams are often in sales, marketing, service, and field. And customer is an umbrella term that includes users, individual buyers or consumers, retail or web visitors. A platform that drives better customer experience must enable everyone to be aligned and productive. It has to be simple for each person to use within the limited context of their daily work, and it has to connect the work of every person with the people outside their own team as well. Now, we think that this means doing 4 things well. First is transforming every touch point into an experience center. We define an experience center as any touch point that helps move a customer's experience forward, empowering every employee to do the most they can for every customer. This involves removing obstacles in their way, doing heavy lifting through technology, and presenting the right information to them at the right time. And then there's bringing the company together for the cause of customer experience. We believe every individual contributes their part towards CX, but keeping them all on the same piece of land instead of having multiple islands is key to delivering a great customer experience. And finally, reducing the complexity involved in accomplishing all of the above. When complexity reduces, so does risk, and therefore as does net cost. So that's a key part of our approach as well. Unlike many of our competitors, we don't like to keep the rest of the C-suite happy at the cost of the CIO and the CFO. We want to make everybody happy. Let's now see where and how Zoho comes into this mix. Zoho brings three pieces of value to the table. A unified suite of applications that are all tightly integrated with each other. A context universe that is a direct result of that unification. And a robust platform to integrate all of this value into a brand's technology stack. And we do all this so brands can use our platform to bring their CX vision to life and be the best version of themselves for their customers. Now, as some of you may already know, Zoho has an entire suite of applications that cater to the needs of internal ecosystem, customer-facing teams, as well as a company's leadership. The suite has software for sales, marketing, service, finance, operations, inventory, IT, workplace productivity and collaboration, HR, and even an application platform for custom applications. From about 2004 to 2016, we were largely a product company, and that formed the foundation for our suite. Since 2016, we've been focusing on becoming a platform company, and we've since built out a ton of extensibility and developer-facing capabilities, which I'll talk about a little bit further down. Zoho's CX Suite is a suite of applications that cater primarily to teams in marketing, sales, and service, whether they function remotely, through online meetings, or on the field through outdoor teams. And there's a project management layer that helps connect the work of all of these teams with that of internal teams. For end customers of brands, Zoho offers mobile SDKs as well as a platform to build self-service capabilities to carry their customer experience into other platforms like the brand's website or a mobile app. Together, this forms the CX suite of applications for Zoho. We've built all of the pieces of the suite from early 2000s to about 2015 when we evolved to platform directions. And for the last 5 years or so, we've launched a marketplace of extensions and a number of low-code or pro-code developer tools. Now, in addition to the CX suite of applications, Zoho also offers an experience platform that helps connect these Zoho applications as well as other popular applications from companies like Workday, SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, etc. to build truly cross-functional experiences. This is another proof of our platform approach, and I'll explain more about this a little bit later. Let's see what we mean when we say Zoho unifies functional software. So as a company that generally builds from scratch, we've been able to build elements through the entire depth of the technology stack, starting from infrastructure like data centers and the associated networking and content distribution networks through database models and caching and storage management. And then comes the services layer, which includes elements that are consumed across the suite of apps like search, single sign-on, AI, BI, omnichannel, etc. And then come the products themselves. Now, each product is purpose-built to make its respective user more productive, but also cross-reference customer context from other applications to make everyone more collaborative and effective. And finally, the topmost layer brings together all the applications that are part of the brand's technology stack and help create unified cross-functional experiences. Many, if not most vendors, are able to unify only a few of these layers. In fact, they often hide the other layers behind a wall of abstraction to produce what we call a mirage of unification. However, Zoho builds things from scratch and therefore owns everything. We've built software for various functions like sales, marketing, service, and IT for many, many years now and have acquired the deep expertise in each domain. I'd like to take you through some examples of unification in our software suite, just so you know we put our money where our mouth is. This is a screen that shows how straightforward it is to add employees and provision them into different functional software based on the roles that they perform in the organization. And companies can get as granular as they want about data permissions for each kind of employee. Now, all of this can be managed from a single console, so when someone joins the organization or leaves the organization or changes to a different team or changes to a different responsibility, the process of making those appropriate internal changes is extremely simple, and it can be done from the same screen. Now, this screen shows how an employee is browsing the latest tweets from a customer, but is also able to call that customer from right there or accept a call from that customer right there. Unification allows employees to switch back and forth between channels based on the context of the situation, so they're always on the right foot forward and they're able to pick the right channel to resolve the issue at hand and help the customer in the best possible way. Now, with those examples, let's move from the idea of software unification to the real benefit that is accrued from deep unification, which is the availability of customer context across so many touch points. And that brings us to the context universe, the second part of our differentiation. Customer context is omnipresent and multidimensional. It can seem abstract and disjointed at first, but patterns begin to emerge when you look at it from the right perspective. Now, I want to spend a minute here to talk about how we handle context and what we do with it. We collect context from our suite of over 45 different applications. We also collect context from third-party off-the-rack tools, from bespoke internal applications within an organization, and also from IoT device signals. Some of this context comes ready for use, while some context requires transformation. Where it's ready for use, we surface the right kind of details and show them to the right stakeholder. Additionally, we show the appropriate amount of depth. For example, a field delivery staff might need to see only a customer's latest pending order, while the contact center employee might need to see the customer's 10 most recent orders. Where the context isn't ready for immediate consumption, we interpret the context. We run automation based on field values or metadata. We parse context using AI to interpret things like the best time to contact a customer or the sentiment of a message. We perform transformations like deduplication or data format conversion. And finally, we also show historical and aggregate context in the form of analytics for broader consumption. How do we know what to do with the context we receive? We use a variety of lenses to create the right perspective to interpret customer context. The first of them is technology. Since we build a suite of applications, we're able to differentiate between different types of context appropriately and then derive inferences from those. For example, we know the customers for whom meetings are scheduled and who raise requests to ask questions, and we automatically know that these are the customers who are the most engaged. We know which data points are secure and additionally encrypted, and we show them only to the designated stakeholder. We're able to establish a customer's past interaction across touch points, and all of this wouldn't be so smooth unless we knew the entire stack well enough to unify it. The next lens is domain. We've spent 15 years building deep technology applications for the customer-facing teams, and we understand many nuances across these functions really well. For example, we are able to organize and prioritize a customer's service requests based on their stage in the sales pipeline, and we understand how verticals can be different from each other, and we also understand regional differences like time zones, right to left rendering, date formats, and units of measurement, and so on. The third lens is a set of values which we believe will lead to better customer experience across the board. Whether it is engaging visitors on your website or automatically raising a service request from an IoT device, we think proactiveness will become a major customer expectation. Personalization is about delivering the right experience to the right customer at the right moment. And how do we know what's right? That's where context comes in. We tap into the vast context universe to make personalization almost magical. We think the experience of interacting with a brand has to be convenient and efficient for customers, and the same should be true for employees while they interact and help customers. Privacy is the bedrock on which respect and relationships are built, so we take great care to ensure that customer information flows through the brand's organization in exactly the intended manner. For example, in the case of, say, email consent, we enable organizations to collect and maintain customer consent, but the software doesn't bother individual employees. The software knows which customers consented to which action and simply executes only those actions that those customers have consented to. And this makes it easy for employees while keeping it secure for customers. And the technology really disappears. Now, I want to take you through some examples of how we interpret customer context. This is our live chat software, and it knows how a customer has behaved on a brand's website and can automatically engage with them to collect their details and then pass it on to a sales agent right away. This is another example where our AI is able to process the pattern of communications with a particular customer and is able to recommend to the account manager the best time to contact that customer. And this is only possible through unification and aggregation of customer context. Additionally, this account manager also knows when the customer has raised a support request and has engaged with a marketing campaign or has responded to a survey or any number of other signals. And all of this takes place in real time. Moving on, this is an interesting cross-functional integration. A sales account manager is able to see the most recent tickets or service requests from a particular customer. Now, you may feel that's normal. However, the account manager is also able to respond to those service requests from that screen itself, and the contact center agent is able to see this communication as well, and everyone is on the same page. And this is the other side of that coin. The customer support team and the contact center team are able to see which tickets are from prospects, which are from customers, and which are from new users. And they're able to then triage and give each customer the right kind of attention. Now, since individual employees work within their relevant set of tools, context can get accumulated across a company's entire tool set. And in the absence of an integrated platform, this can quickly lead to abandoned islands of customer context. And needless to say, that introduces more inertia into the organization. As a technology platform, Zoho extends, integrates, and personalizes in a number of ways. We offer no-code, low-code, and pro-code options for each layer of the platform. As part of the automation experience, Zoho offers a number of ways to manage how work is captured and assigned, how processes are managed, and how data and context flows back and forth to make everyone more effective. With the employee experience, Zoho's goal is to make interfaces more natural and useful, surface the right information and recommendations, as well as do these across web and mobile devices. On top of these two lies the customer experience piece. As a platform, Zoho offers journey orchestration to manage the most common customer journeys, as well as offer things like omni-channel convenience and a full-blown self-service experience for end users. There's a wide array of possibilities using all of these different capabilities, and we're deepening these capabilities every year, as well as adding new capabilities altogether. And that brings us to Zoho's experience platform. It sits on top of all of the applications in an organization and connects with them through a layer of APIs. Simply put, whenever an event occurs inside any application or the state of an IoT device changes, it can be passed through our orchestration platform to trigger specific activity within any other application. It's really that simple. It's built for reuse in a large enterprise context, so when you capture a particular signal inside the platform, it's available for all other functions and all other journeys to use in any of the experiences they create. So that brings us back to the three pieces I had mentioned. We looked at the unified suite of products and its advantages. We looked at how Zoho has a vast universe of context and uses it to the brand's advantage. We then looked at what platform capabilities help extend and personalize the suite further. Again, we do all of this so that brands can use our platform to bring their CX vision to life and be the best version of themselves for their customers. And this mission is really at the heart of all of our efforts. Now, I'd like to show you how Zoho can truly enable a brand's experience stack by going through a realistic example of how Zoho can help an optical wear company called Kirby Whopper. Any similarities to real brands is purely coincidental. I'd like to call out the 4 levels of experience that Zoho enables in this context. Let's start with the automation experience at the bottom. You'll see that it covers just about everything that happens behind the scenes, starting from how work enters the system, how it's assigned, how it moves from one stakeholder to the next, how anomalies are caught, and how the whole loop is closed. The automation experience ensures that human effort is expended truly towards connecting with the customer and delivering what they need. The leadership experience helps functional leaders manage resources within their respective functions and thereby ensure tight optimization while also being mindful of their impact on adjacent functions. It's also around creating the space for cross-functional collaboration so every employee is engaged with others around them and with the organization as well. By reducing the complexity and creating more organizational knowledge, Zoho helps leaders manage risk, and reduce operational costs as well. The employee experience piece revolves around making the platform as personalized as possible for each employee's function, surfacing the right information and recommendations, and empowering employees across web and mobile platforms. And finally, there's the customer experience piece that deals specifically with everything that customers directly use and experience, regardless of what help they need, or whether they need assistance, or whether they just want to accomplish something by themselves. Customers must have everything at their disposal to be successful. Let's look at a realistic example. Kirby Whopper is an eyewear brand. The prescriptions might come from an eye doctor, but most customers prefer to try on some stylish eyeglass frames before they decide which one to get. It's a lifestyle-based decision that can take some time and effort for many people. Let's say a Kirby customer walks into a retail store. The experience begins with the customer scanning a QR code or tapping their phone on an NFC reader to inform the store that they're at the store. All of the store systems then automatically receive pertinent information about this customer. The customer then proceeds to explore the store, and behind the scenes, they're assigned to a specific store associate who greets them and takes care of them. The customer's visit is synced across various internal systems, and the customer's order history and preferences are sent to the store associate through a mobile app. Based on the customer's order history and preferences, a set of personalized eyeglass recommendations are also sent to the store associate along with relevant sales promotions. On the customer's side, they're just trying on some frames and set one aside as a shortlist. Now the store associate can quickly scan that item and it's added to the customer's cloud shortlist so they can access that list from anywhere on any device. Surely any store would not be big enough to contain the entire catalog. So the customer quickly shifts to a kiosk at the store to look at a wider selection of eyeglass frames. Their session is automatically carried over from the physical world to the online experience through a QR or NFC handoff. They pick a couple more options there and have 2 more slots on their try box. They like a couple of frames that are not in stock, so the customer signs up to be notified when they're back in stock. Behind the scenes, the kiosk session is recorded and synced across internal systems, and the try box order is created, the customer's intent is registered, the record is moved up in the sales CRM, and so on and so forth. The interesting thing here is when the supply and fulfillment team receives the try box order, they know the pipeline of incoming stock, so they know that the 2 frames that the customer wished for will be back in stock later that day. Knowing this, they simply hold the dispatch of the try box until those 2 frames arrive. Later that evening, those frames finally arrive and the customer is notified. The customer is quick to add them to the try box via their mobile app, and now the fulfillment team moves forward with the order dispatch. This example brings out how the automation experience, the employee experience, and customer experience come together. For the customer, it's as seamless as walking into a store asking for some frames to try at home. For the employees, based on their role, everything they need is beamed right to them, and they're able to act in the best interest of the customer. The automation experience takes care to drive processes behind the scenes and ensures that all internal systems receive updates about the customer in real time. Now let's skip forward to another example. The customer has since ordered a pair of eyeglasses and has received the same. A month later, for some reason, the eyeglass frame seems to have broken and the customer now needs a replacement. They use the KW mobile app to request a replacement and schedule a pickup. Behind the scenes, a service request is created on the service management system, and the contact center team can follow and track everything. Relevant SKU details and order history are pulled in from the commerce system. A return merchandise authorization is created on the ERP system. Since a fresh eyeglass frame must be sent to the customer, the available inventory of that SKU must also be decremented by 1. Now, if you notice, the automation experience takes care of such minute details in real time. A work order is created for the field team to pick up the defective eyeglass frames from the customer, and the pickup time chosen by that customer is also updated. An appointment is scheduled and the work order is assigned to a field associate. All this happens quietly behind the scenes. Now, at the time of the appointment, the customer simply places the package on their front porch and the field agent completes the contactless pickup. The field agent scans the defective piece, and that sets in motion a long series of events. The defective eyeglass frames eventually reach the factory while the replacement is affixed to the customer's lens and is dispatched to the fulfillment center. Now, I won't bore you with all the fine details of all of that. Once the replacement reaches the fulfillment hub, the customer is notified automatically of an expected date of delivery so they can be prepared. When the package reaches the nearest delivery center, the customer is informed that a delivery is expected the next day so they can be around or make arrangements to receive it. A work order is created on the field service system and is assigned to a field agent who completes the contactless delivery. A ton of information is updated in various systems and is synced with adjacent systems. The customer receives a CSAT survey where they can rate the whole experience and give additional feedback. This voice of the customer is then incorporated into various regional and corporate reports. Quantitative information from the process is sent to the BI platform where it can be consumed by various stakeholders. Chat and collaboration groups can look at weekly and monthly data to discuss during their periodic meetings. In this example, you'll see a clear fundamental layer powered by the automation experience. You'll also see how simple and frictionless the customer experience is. Every employee is shown the information that only makes them more productive. And wherever possible, information is shared and correlated by different departments for better understanding and collaboration. All of this can be achieved with the least number of moving parts, thereby improving the reliability of the system and reducing risk. As a follow-up to this, I'd like to call out some interesting capabilities so you can ask us about these during Zoho Day. In the automation experience, journeys are managed within the command center. Cross-functional processes are managed via Blueprint, and we also have a dedicated offering called Orchestly. Single-step processes are managed through simple rule-based workflow automation as well as functions written in low-code. Any requirements that don't fit into these capabilities can be built over our microservices platform, Catalyst. As for custom AI requirements, we're also building various developer-facing capabilities for Zia, Zoho's AI assistant. The aim of the automation experience is to allow brands to automate every underlying routine and then some. So a ton of effort is saved in aggregate and it can be invested in actual interactions with customers. The leadership experience aims to provide leaders with all the information they need at the right time to lead their teams and therefore the organization with confidence at every turn. For straightforward functional metrics, all of our products come with a native layer of dashboards and custom reporting. In order to combine data from adjacent functions and understand the impact of one decision on other functions, we recommend the use of our BI platform, Zoho Analytics. VOC data comes in from customer surveys but can also be inferred from their interactions via AI-based intelligence. To understand what journeys customers are actually taking vis-a-vis what journeys the brand expected them to take, Zoho will soon be announcing Pathfinder, a revolutionary journey analytics solution. And if leaders wish to understand how well their teams are using the tools that are made for them, we can make that happen too via detailed audit logs. As far as the employee experience is concerned, Zoho is committed to make its tools as simple to use as possible while giving them the true value of a unified and integrated platform. Starting with Zoho CRM, we are bringing to the market Canvas, a revolutionary drag-drop interface builder to help build intuitive interfaces that are tailored to the role played by each employee. To pull in context from other applications, public and private extensions from the Zoho marketplace can be used. To facilitate easy data-level integrations, there's Zoho Flow, a drag-drop data integration builder. Employees greatly benefit from having recommendations on next steps, which we achieve via Blueprint as well as Zia's AI-based recommendations. And for broader collaboration, we offer a dedicated collaboration platform in the form of Zoho Workplace and Zoho Remotely. Now, in terms of the customer experience, Zoho offers omni-channel convenience for brands across phone, social, IM, email, and even field service. There's a growing interest in customer self-service from both brands and customers alike. To that end, you should definitely ask us about our approach to self-service portals and about guided conversations. For single sign-on, there's Zoho IAM. For documentation and customer-facing knowledge, there's knowledge management in Zoho Desk, along with an AI assistant to help customers find the right knowledge. Of course, having been in the space of CRM for about 15 years, we understand very well that everything evolves over time, and so do experiences. Now, experiences could evolve in terms of new markets, which could be geographical, linguistic, or specific to a vertical or industry. They could evolve based on new business or market segments, such as the size or value of a customer, buyer personas, and B2B or B2C. They could evolve based on new offerings, and these could be new products or services or add ons that are complementary to existing offerings. Experiences could also evolve based on new touchpoints, and these could be new channels of communication or action, new processes introduced in the business, or new privileges enabled for customers. Across all of these directions, when experiences evolve, we believe that Zoho will evolve alongside and strive to be the technology platform that enables new experiences for brands in the future. And that brings us back to the three pieces I had mentioned. I want to reiterate the three things of value that Zoho brings to the table: a unified suite of deep functional products, a context universe unlike any other, and a robust platform to extend and personalize all of it to suit the changing needs of the business. And we do all this so that brands can use our platform to bring their CX vision to life and be the best version of themselves for their customers. I'd like to conclude by going back to the four common reasons why companies are not able to shift to experience offerings successfully. And I'd like to quickly show you how Zoho has flipped those around. An inconsistent experience at every touch point can now become a uniform experience across all touch points. An underpowered experience for employees can now be transformed into a supercharged experience for them. A disconnected functional approach can evolve to a more collaborative, interconnected approach to work. Finally, what was once unviable has now become something else that's incredible yet true. Through the automation experience, leadership experience, employee experience, and the customer experience layers, the Zoho CX platform can truly power a brand's experience vision from end to end and make it vastly simpler to evolve into the future. Thank you for your time. We're excited to meet you all at Zoho Day.